Good morning, all of you. In today's session, we are going to start with the 10th class chemistry and physics. Here, unit 1 reflection of light on curved surfaces. Series 4 is going to be started now. Earlier, we completed series 1, 2, 3 consisting this unit 1 only. So it is not possible to record all the entire lesson in the single session. That's the reason why it was fragmented into different series, right? So in each series, we are going to cover a certain topic so that it will be easy for your preparation. Let us enter into our today's concept. Here, already we started the discussion about ray diagram. Ray diagram is nothing but whenever object placed in certain distance with respect to the concave lens, especially we are going to determine the property and image formation of concave mirror. Concave mirror is nothing but the curvature is present inside and light rays are allowed to fall on this parabola. So this interior curvature is said to be a concave lens, and always it used to give the inverted mirror. So in most of the cases, inverted images are originated from this one, right? So here ray diagram is nothing but whenever rays are generated, rays are nothing but light radiation generated from this object. So that falls on the concave mirror. How the image formation is possible, that kind of experiment is called a ray diagram. And with respect to concave mirror, we are going to discuss. So already we completed condition 1 and condition 2 in the earlier session. Now we entered into condition 3. In this condition 3, what we are doing, we are taking the object called a candle and which is illuminated, and from this we are considering only single ray. So light is able to light having the natural phenomena to disperse in all possible dimensions, but it is not possible to consider all the rays of light generated from this candle. That's the reason why only single ray we are considering here, that is denoted with R2. R2 is the radiation which is originated from this object called a candle, and that used to pass through the focus. So this is called a focal point. F denotes what? Focal point. So here condition 3, what we are doing, we are taking the object, and from that only one light ray is allowed to pass through this focal point, and which falling on the mirror. Whenever it falling on the mirror, what happens? Again it will bounce. So bouncing of this light is possible, and it will move in the parallel direction with respect to the principal axis. So how the principal axis is there, in the parallel manner this bounced line, that means reflected light is passing. So in all the ray diagrams, the common point is only one. What is the common point? That is, all ray diagrams are used to obey the laws of reflection. What is the law of reflection? Incident angle, incident light angle, and reflected light angle should be identical, should be equal. So in such a manner, these ray diagrams were drawn. So in this figure 9, what we are taking object. From this only one light ray is used to be considered, that is denoted with R2, and allowed to fall on the surface of the curvature of mirror, and it used to pass through the focal point, and which imposed on this mirror, right? After this imposing, what happens? It will be bouncing and moving in the parallel manner with respect to the principal axis. So this is the condition. This is a condition 3. So when such a kind of case is possible, so what happens? Whatever hypothetical line was drawn, that can be extended in the opposite direction also. That line is extended even in the opposite direction also. So this is the interference which drawn in this condition number 3. Let us move on to next one. So here in this condition 3, so light ray which is originated from the source is denoted with R2, and it used to pass to the point called F, and parallel line is originated called reflected light. So reflected light and incident light both are used to generate the angles. Both are identical in nature in accordance with first law of reflection. So as seen in the earlier, any ray that normal to the surface. So what is meant by normal? So here is the explanation for the normal, right? So what is exactly normal means? At any point, incident light which strikes on the mirror, that line drawn perpendicular to the surface of mirror, that line is known as a normal point, right? So we are taking object here, for example, object used to originate the light source, and the light will travel with a certain path, and which strikes on the surface of mirror. And when it is striking on the mirror, whatever perpendicular line we are drawing, that perpendicular line we are drawing, that is called a normal, right? So in that manner, here, what we are doing, after reflection, it travels with a parallel to the axis. So reflected light parallel to the axis coming from the point, and we denote incident light with R2, and which passing through the F. And here normal was drawn here, and we can see there is one more ray which is convenient to draw. One more ray will be generated in this, so that is moving in the opposite direction. So that is moving in the opposite direction, beyond this curvature it is moving, right? So this is the interference drawn in this condition 3. Okay, so let us move on to condition 4. In this condition 4, condition 3, what we did, so light ray originated passing through the focal point. In condition 4, light ray originated, this is denoted with R3. So light ray, again we are considering only one light ray that is originated from this object and denoted with R3. Now it is passing through the center of curvature, right? R3 is passing through the center of curvature now. Now let us see what is the condition and what we are employing here. We know that line drawn from the center of curvature, mirror is perpendicular to the tangent at the point. What is mean by tangent point? At any point we are drawing the hypothetical line of the spherical surface is called a tangent line, right? So that line meet the curvature. So this is working like a tangent line, and it used to meet on the surface of this curvature. Curvature is nothing but concave lens. On this concave lens, so light originated R3 passing through the center of curvature. This is denoted as a tangent line, and which falls on the surface of curvature now. It will be reflected along the same line. So here, whatever path it is coming, in the same path it is bouncing back without any angle. In the same path it is bouncing back. That's the reason why here you can clearly observe that 2 arrows are indicated. Arrow towards the mirror indicates what? Light is moving in this direction. Towards the mirror, light is moving. And after this, after hitting on the surface of curvature, again it is bouncing back in the same path, so that it is moving through towards the object denoted with another arrow, right? So this ray is shown in the R3 figure 10. In general, ray traveling along the same path. In this condition 4, if light ray is passing through the center of ray, that bouncing back in the same path. So this is a condition 4. So just now we discussed what is mean by normal. Normal is nothing but when light originated from the object hitting on the surface of mirror, the hypothetical line drawn with respect to this incident light, that should be perpendicular, that is denoted as a normal, right? So here condition 4 can be extended again. So when along with these 3 rays, the ray which come from the object reaches the pole. So when this light coming from the candle, when reaches the pole is nothing but the point where light is intersecting with the curvature is called a pole, right? So which is denoted with P. Pole of the mirror is also useful in drawing the ray diagram. So where it is bisecting, where it is touching the surface of curvature, that is denoted with P, and that also plays a vital role in drawing the ray diagram. For this ray, the principal axis will be the normal. So if we are taking this line passing through the center of curvature, the hypothetical line, perpendicular line will become normal, right? So in case of this figure 10, in case of this condition 4, principal axis will become normal here, because it will be perpendicular to the incident light, so that you can say principal axis will be the normal here, right? Now object placed as shown in the figure 11. We are moving to any other condition here. We can draw the ray diagram to the point of intersection A of any two rays coming from the top of the object and point of intersection B. Any two rays coming from the bottom of the object. Any two rays coming from the bottom of the object, then it is observed that point B exactly at the same distance from the mirror of point A. Right. So, if we consider the object placed as shown in the figure 11, we are taking another condition where this is the candle which is placed at the distance away from this center of curvature, and we can draw the ray diagram to this point of intersection A. So for this point of intersection A was given. So what happens? First, let us consider this is the object called the light candle, and from this two rays are originated, R1 and R2. These two rays are originated, which are used to hit on the surface of this curvature. After that, both are used to intersect at the point A. So these two lines are bouncing back, and after bouncing back, it will intersect at the point A, right? So of any two rays coming from the top of the object and point of intersection B, right? So another point was taken. So another two rays were taken, and these are used to intersect at the point B. These are used to intersect at the point B of any two rays coming from the bottom of the object, right? So most probably for our convenience, in order to avoid the ambiguity, ray diagram always consider the light coming from the tip of the candle. But in this case, in this condition, figure 11, so here two rays is said to be R1 and R2, and these are coming from the tip of lamp can be taken and intersecting point taken as A. And more one condition we are going to apply, that is R1 and R2, which are coming from the bottom. Coming from the bottom of this candle, they are also said to be R1 and R2, which are indicated with blue lines. These two rays are indicated, these two incident rays are indicated with blue lines, and these are used to intersect or bisect on the curvature of this concave mirror, and both are used to intersect at the point B. So here it is very clear that the intersection point A as well as intersection point B, both are in between center of curvature and focal point. That's the reason why here we will get the image of inverted and diminished in nature. What is the inference in case of this one? Whenever this object is placed behind this C, behind this C is nothing but center of curvature. Always the condition is we will get the image in between focal point and the center of curvature. That is the condition one. And the second is image size is small. That means diminished image will be generated. That is the condition 2. And condition 3 is that should be inverted in nature. Inverted in the sense with respect to here it is vertical. We got the reciprocal at that one. Inverted image is obtained, and it will be the real image. These four are the inferences which are drawn from this figure 11, right? So that can be extended here. It is observed that in the point B exactly at the same distance, at the point B exactly at the same distance from the mirror point A. So point B and point A both are at the same distance. Intersecting points are at equal distance with respect to each other. Both are parallel with respect to each other and equidistant with respect to each other, right? And hence the image is vertical. Image is vertical and inverted. Here, vertical object will be there. Here we will get the inverted image. So inverted image with respect to A and inverted image with respect to B. So if you take inverted image with respect to B, what happens? It will be in this manner. For this A, it will be vertical upright. So that's the reason why we will get two kind of objects here. Two kinds of images are generated. One is vertical and other is inverted. Because A, B are present in the equal distance, one will generate with a vertical image, second will generate with the inverted image. where is the base of candle expected to be the image when candle placed in the axis of mirror? Where is the base of the candle expected to be in the image candle placed in the axis of mirror? Where it should be? Behind the center of curvature. That is the proper answer for the question what we are asking here. So here object is placed, object bottom is placed behind the curvature, then only it is possible to get the intersecting point A and B in between focal point and the center of inversion. Since and ray coming from the any point on the axis traveling along the axis will get reflected on the axis itself. It can conclude that base of the image is going on the axis only. Base of the image is present on the axis. That should be behind the center of curvature and that present on the axis. Then only it is possible to get two different kind of intersecting points in the equidistance, right? So here, using the knowledge that if the object is placed vertically on the axis, the image is going to be vertical. All that we need to do is to draw the perpendicular from the point A to the axis. The intersection point is the point where the base of the image is candle likely to be formed. So where the intersection is possible, where the two light rays are bisecting with each other, there only you can find the image of that one. So here, in case of this figure 11, you can assume two intersecting points, say A point and B point. A point is the intersection so that you will get the image here. And B point is also used to originate another image. So that here two images are originated because here we are taking four different rays, say R1, R2, R1 prime and R2 prime. That's the reason why four rays are possible in case of that one, right? The intersection point is the point where the base image of the candle likely to be formed. So image formation is possible at that point. Now we are going to consider another diagram. This is another ray diagram. So in this another ray diagram, what we are taking the image. So we are taking this what we can say object can be taken exactly on the principal axis, right? So we are taking the object on the principal axis in the figure number 12. Hence, as shown in the diagram, image will be inverted and diminished. So when we are taking object here, again this object is placed behind C. Object is placed behind C, and we are considering only two rays which are coming from tip of the light. Tip of the light is nothing but top of the light where R1 and R2 light rays are originated. They are used to move in certain angle and used to hit on the curvature and bouncing back. After bouncing back, they are used to intersect at the point A. So when they are intersecting at the point A, obviously there is only the image formation is possible. So here the condition is, so this object is placed behind C. When it placed behind C, we drawn some inferences from our laboratory activity previously. When it placed behind C, so always the image will be formed in between focal point and center of curvature. Here you can clearly observe that the image formed in between focal point F and the center of curvature C. And what is the size? With respect to object, the size will be diminished. That will be smaller in nature. So that is another inference. And how it will be? Inverted or vertical? It will be obviously inverted shape will be there. So these are the inferences drawn. So when you do the experiment, these are exactly matched. This is the theoretical part. But when you do the experiment, whatever inferences drawn, they are exactly matching with this theoretical concept. So that this concept is verified now. Again, I am repeating figure number 12. So here the condition is we are placing the object on the principal axis and the condition is away from that. That means behind the center of curvature. When it is placed, we are considering two rays coming from the tip of the candle. One is denoted with R1, second is denoted with R2. They are traveling with certain angle between these two. And they are used to hit on the surface of concave curvature so that they are bouncing back. Whenever they are bouncing, they are used to converge at particular point. They are used to intersect at particular point that is denoted with point A. So always it is very clear that where the point of intersection will be there only image formation is possible. They are intersecting with each other in between focal point and center of curvature, so that the image is originated in between focal point and center of curvature. And the conditions for this will be, so image will be formed is a smaller in nature when compared to the object, and it will be inverted, it will be diminished, and these are the inferences drawn what we done in the laboratory experiment. Both are exactly matching. So this is about figure number 12. Let us move on to figure number 13. So what we are doing here, the condition, is it possible to avoid the image formation? So in all the above cases, we got the image in certain distance, that may be away from the curvature or near to curvature focal point. Different conditions are employed. Here what we are thinking for, so if we are shifting the position of this object, if we are shifting the position of the candle, is it possible to avoid the formation of image of this one? So it is possible. How it is possible? During the experiment, did you get any position where you could not get any image on the screen? Screen formation is not possible. What is the suitable position to place this object, place this candle? So that experiment is explained in this figure number 13. Again, it is a part of ray diagram. Now, consider the case where candle placed distance less than the focal length. Focal length is denoted with f. So from this f point, we are shortening the distance of this object. So less than this focal point, we are keeping the object called a candle, right? So from its tip point, it used to originate the incident light, which used to stuck on this curvature and bouncing back and passing through the focal point. So that exactly passing through the focal point. And in the similar manner, any other light rays originated from this candle, and that is denoted with R2, and that used to reflect, that used to heat on the surface of curvature and passing through the center of curvature. When you observe both the rays which are coming from this object hitting on the surface and bouncing back, but at any instance, these two light rays are not mixing. They are not intersecting at any point. One is passing through the focal point, another is passing through the center of curvature. So both are said to be divergent light rays. Divergent are nothing but both are moving in their distinct paths, right? So convergent is nothing but they will travel, and after certain instance they used to meet at particular intersection point. Those are called a convergent light. These two light rays are said to be a divergent light rays and moving in their distinct paths only. That's the reason why wherever intersection is there only image will be formed. In case of this one, image formation is not at all possible at any point of the screen. So what's the condition? Let us explain the condition in figure 13. We are taking a concave mirror and object is placed less than its focal length. So already we know that one fundamental thing, we already know that the concave mirror whose focal length already known, concave mirror should be chosen. So here its focal length is taken as f and center of curvature is taken as C, and object is denoted with O. P denoted for pole, which where principal axis is bisecting this curvature of concave lens, right? So what's the condition here in figure 13? The condition is we are placing the object less than the focal point, right? So when this candle placed less than the focal point, we are taking two rays which originated from the candle. One is said to be R1, second is said to be R2. Both are hitting on the surface of curvature and bouncing back. And one is passing through the focal point F, another passing through the center of curvature C, and then never they get intersected, so that the image formation is not possible in case of this figure number 13, right? So this is the condition what we are drawing in figure 13. In the practical sense, that may not be possible. Here is the slight change in the experiment. Instead of drawing a ray diagram candle tip of the center curvature, Consider the ray that coming from the tip and goes to the direction and would go through the center of curvature if extended backward. This ray is a normal to the surface and so will be reflected along the same line. Opposite direction will go through the center of curvature. So in this manner, it is passing through the center of curvature. So what we are doing, we are taking a single ray of line and that will be splitted into two rays after bouncing on the surface. So one is passing through the focal point and second is passing through the center. So here, this principal axis will become the normal here, and both are divergent in nature, both are not at all mixing at any point of instance. We notice that two reflected rays which are moving in this direction denoted with arrows towards this right hand side, diverge and will not meet at any point. While doing the experiment for the case, as this we were unable to find any place where we get sharp image. So the condition for the image formation is when the lines are used to intersect, then only image formation is possible. In case of this one, both are divergent. That's the reason why image formation is not possible. This ray diagram tells us that since reflected rays are diverging, will not get image anywhere. So even we had moved the screen. So if screen adjusted, so in that condition also image formation is not possible. So by this ray diagram for this figure number 13 was completed. Hope this session will be helpful for your preparation. And thank you very much for your consistent listening. Thank you one and all.